This is TWiT.
Yeah, everybody should listen to this with earphones, and then we'll comment on it after it finishes. It doesn't last very long.
Okay.
Hello, these will be some binaural tests. The mannequin now is matching my height. I'm probably about a meter away. I'm talking on axis. I'm going to slowly walk around the mannequin, and you can see where I am, but I'll also point out the position. So we're on axis, and we're going to move toward the left ear. 7777, 7777. She sells seashells by the seashore. 7777, 7777. She sells seashells by the seashore. 7777. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now I'm directly on the left ear, moving toward the back. 7777. She sells seashells by the seashore. 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 Now I'm directly behind, moving now toward the right ear. 7777. She sells seashells by the seashore.
So,
okay.
If you're listening in stereo to one of the video podcasts or the live stream, you should be able to hear Bob moving around that mannequin. And the mannequin is important. It's a form of a binaural microphone, and we haven't really delved into that whole topic yet, and this may very well be a good time to do it.
Right. I just wanted to make one comment, though, to your listeners and viewers. I've done this particular experiment many times, and in a recent lecture I gave on this, I noticed that some percentage, maybe 10% of the listeners, would find that they would hear an elevated image for part of the rotation. And after doing a little research into this, we must realize that the particular mannequin being used it looks like a real person, but it's not exactly you. And two differences between real people and these mannequins are the diameter of the head and the intricacies of the pinna. And these things,
which is the outer ear, the part of the ear that we normally call the ear.
That's right. So some of your listeners will hear a very natural motion. Some of them might hear the sound to be elevated. Some might hear the sound to come closer and further. And I think this is something we must accept if we're doing binaural recording with entertainment that is not completely individualized. And being completely individualized is probably impractical. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's continue with your question having to do with the mannequin.
Right, exactly. Basically, there are several different ways to capture immersive sound, the mannequin being one of them. And I want to take a look at graphics number 7, 8, and 9, because that way we can see some different approaches. So here's number 7. This shows us 3 different types of microphone arrangements for capturing an immersive sound field. Tell us what these are.
Okay, so the silhouette would be your musical group. The microphones that are set on top of them would be your traditional recording multi-track technique. We did mention ambisonics, and that uses what's called a sound field microphone. That's on the left-hand side. The center has a binaural mannequin, and off to the right we have a product that is made by a company called Dynasonics. It's in a different way to look at a sound field microphone. And there's also another one that I haven't put in there, which is made by M&H Acoustics called the Eigenmic, which is similar in concept to that motion track binaural microphone, but has 32 omni elements in it and enables producers to do more. So those are techniques for capture.
Right. And the binaural head or mannequin, I want to make sure everybody understands, has a head that is modeled after a sort of a quote-unquote average human head, but more particularly an average pair of pinna or outer ears. Correct. And there are microphones that are stuck in those ears, and those are what capture the sound with all of the diffraction and the acoustic effects of the pinna, which isn't, as you pointed out earlier, it's not exactly the same as yours or mine. In fact, pinnas are as individual as fingerprints, I believe. So yes. This is kind of an average. And so the effect is going to be more or less pronounced depending on the difference between these average pinnas, which are in this mannequin, and your particular pinnas that exist in your ears.
That is correct. And I'd say the key elements, if we switch to slide number 9.
Okay.
If we can find that, and you look at the left-hand side, this is some of the basics for the way I capture sound. The little gray object with the P2 pointing at it represents where the microphone is. And off to the right, there is a graph that has multiple plots in it. And that is showing all the components of the human body and the ear canal system that affect sound pressure level at P2, for example. And so it's important that there be a torso, that there be a head object, and there be a pinna. And capture techniques that don't use those have to suffer because of that and have to find some ways of trying to make up for that when they do the final binaural realization.